timescale on Jeremy Frimpong? What's the extent of his injury?
I will definitely not be in the squad tomorrow, so he's out for a few weeks, but not as bad as we thought he would be out. So something positive from something not so positive.
Want to check on Ibu as well?
Ibu trained with us yesterday, so trains with us today, and will be in the squad tomorrow.
Obviously, there's been a lot of talk around potential incomings, or you trying to add to your squad in this window. So probably for the last time this month, what chance do you see of bringing in a long-term target in this transfer window?
You promised me you're not going to ask at post-match meeting, then.
Okay. We'll be asking that after the game.
Yeah, I think you know the answer. The answer is that if we think we've addressed a player that can help us, and we think it's possible, then we would do so. But those are conversations that take place not far away from here, by the way, but not in this room.
So it's looking unlikely, sir.
Why is it looking unlikely?
It's looking unlikely, is it?
Okay, that's a smart way of asking it. I think I gave the answer I gave, but it's up to you if that means it's unlikely or it's likely. Yeah, that's
I'm just thinking I'm going to have a very quiet day here on Monday.
Okay, it could be. You want to play golf?
Yeah, I'd love to, yeah.
Yeah.
Get down to Wallasey. Looking at the game itself, though, how do you assess now the challenge you've got of finishing in the top four, and how crucial is this game to those hopes? Well, given Newcastle are just 3 points behind.
Yeah, no, I think that's throughout the whole season. Every single game is crucial, but the way we've positioned ourselves now makes probably every game even more crucial. Because that's definitely what we want to achieve. Then it is a crucial game, as the next one is a crucial one, as the next one is a crucial one as well. And we've experienced how tough it is to play against Newcastle in the 1.5 year I'm here now. It's always been a very tough contest, very tough game for us, but for them as well. So yeah, great game to look forward to, because we both had a good result during the week. And a home game at Anfield is always something to look forward to.
Hello again. Just in terms of that result as well, good win, great performance on top of that. Does it give everyone a bit of a lift, or a bigger lift around here? Did they need a lift at the moment, given the start in the Premier League to the year?
No, I prefer to win it than losing that game. So that is always helping. Every game you win helps. In the first place, because we qualified for the last 16. Second of all, because it was a good win with some good performances, players scoring goals, and that's always helpful. But we are fully aware of the fact that one win isn't enough at this club. So the next one is coming fast with Newcastle, and I think that's I'm 100% sure that game is a bigger challenge than the one we faced Wednesday. But always helpful to win, especially if we've lost in the last minute at Bournemouth, then it's always nice to have a better feeling during the week.
And I know that Benny asked you a couple about players as well. I'm just wondering about Joe and Curtis. Might they be available?
Yeah, Curtis is again available. He was sick, as I said, but he is available. And Joe will not be available, but that doesn't have to take much longer anymore. But he will not be available for the weekend.
Mo Salah got his first goal in 9 Liverpool games last time out. I just wonder if you think he's in a good position to rediscover some of his best form like we saw last season.
I think it's always about the team, and the team has to make sure he gets in good positions, and I think that's what we are doing more and more, not only with him but with many players. I think I've said this recently quite a lot. Our game in between boxes is good enough for our attackers to be often enough in promising positions. And we know that if this happens enough times, then our players will do what we expect of them, because they have so much quality. I think you were talking about Mo, but a great example might also be Florian, who was 3 minutes before the end against Bournemouth in exactly the same position as he was when he scored the 2-0. But in Bournemouth he decided to play a through pass. Now he went for his own chance and scored. This is how football works. Sometimes the ball hits the post, the ball hits the bar. Sometimes you make the wrong decision. Sometimes the execution is not perfect. But I was really pleased and happy for Mo that he scored that goal, because I think no matter how much he has scored for this club, it's always good to be on the score sheet, as it was for Federico as well, and for Florian. That always gives a bit of confidence to the team, but also to individuals.
Is it a slight problem for Mo's game when he doesn't have a natural right back behind him, as you'll be forced to do this week?
Depends. I think what helps for every winger is that there are players who are making overlapping or inside runs, so that the teammates of the one that has to defend Mo are also aware of other runs, and you can isolate Mo or a winger then a little bit more in a 1v1. If that doesn't happen, then they can always double up, and that is more difficult for every winger if you are 2 versus 1 than 1v1. But I saw Wata making, who played there the last game, making a lot of inside runs and try to make once in a while an overlapping run as well. Is that different than Jeremy? Yeah, Wata doesn't have the one-on-one quality to take a player on than Jeremy has. But Wata brings other smart things to our team if he plays in a position which he did. His positioning in between the lines, because he is a former, or no, he's not a former, he is a midfielder. So every player brings something else to the team, and again, we have to make sure that no matter who's playing behind him, he gets, Mo in this situation, gets often enough in a promising position.
Carl?
There's been a lot of talk about your European performances compared to your Premier League performances and how they differ in terms of certain results. Just wondering how you compare the two and how you see the differences. I know you've spoken a lot about low blocks and things like that, but the results you've had in the Champions League look on paper far better than the ones in the Premier League.
Yeah, they don't look on paper better. Or they look on paper, in reality they look better as well. No, that's true. I think if you look at the top 8, there are 5 English clubs in the Champions League, so that tells you also a lot about the strength of the Premier League. I said, I think before the game, what has impacted maybe our results in the Premier League as well is the amount of games we've played with mainly the same players. So the load was constantly towards the same players, and I think we've seen that in some games we struggled with that, especially earlier on in the season. That some players need to adjust to that rhythm. And later on in the season, because we played so many games now and mainly the same players have to play, that game during the week have impacted sometimes parts of our games in the weekend. But in general, I think it's also safe to say that there's a lot more physicality in the Premier League than there is in the Champions League. I did not saw one long throw-in from Karabakh or from Marseille. Set pieces are at a different level. I think our set pieces against Karabakh were, every time we got one, I was expecting us to score because it was always a chance. So that part of the game is much more developed here in England, especially over the last season, than it is in the Champions League. But in the Champions League, we've also faced teams that in between the boxes are very good teams. And also in the boxes, but Premier League has become more of a box game. Just bring the ball in the box. Where in the Champions League, it's a bit more also play in between the boxes. That's my take on it.
Could you just quick check on update on Alexander Isak for a while? Where's he in his rehab, and do you have a timescale on long term when he's going to be back?
No, he's not even on the pitch yet. So I think it's called a walker. So he's just out of his walker. Is it called a walker? Yeah. So that tells you that he's not on the pitch yet, and I'm not expecting him on the pitch today or tomorrow in terms of his recovery work. So that is going to take a while before he's back, as we knew.
Against Karabakh, you had the luxury of bringing on 3 young players. Can be a scenario other than that the team is leading with several goals to give them another opportunity. And I'm really curious about Rio because he last time scored the winning goal at St. James's Park.
Yeah. Yeah, Trey and Amara came in, and they've mainly come in games either in League Cup or in games where we were leading by a big margin. So for them it was a good first taste of first team football, not first but close to first taste. With Rio, that is completely different in my opinion. He also comes in when we need a goal or in moments where the game hasn't been decided yet. And I think Trey showed when he came in that he comes closer and closer to a situation where I can also bring him in. He's developed really nicely in the last year. He gets closer and closer to come in moments that matter even more. And that is how things work with young players. You just make step after step after step till the manager trusts you enough to play you in difficult moments. And that has already happened for Rio. And Trey is really close to that moment. And Amara is a bit further away from that. But nice, very nice for him after his difficult start at the first team, 2 red cards, that he was mentally so strong, kept fighting, doing good in the under-21s, and now he got his reward by playing time in the first team.
James?
Arne, how do you see that battle for Champions League qualification now? We're only 2 points behind United in 4th, but we're only 3 ahead, I think, of 10th or 11th. It's very congested. So the reason that this is absolutely pivotal now in this period.
Now we already thought that every single period was pivotal. Was that the word you used? Yeah. So that hasn't changed, but it's obvious that the closer you come to the end, the less opportunities you have to make a mistake. And we are now in a position that that we cannot afford a lot of mistakes anymore because we've made far too many. And with mistakes, I mean giving away goals in the last minute, don't do any justice on the performance in terms of the score. So yeah, it's clear and obvious that the closer you come to the end, and that's the same in the Champions League where you go to knockout stages, then there's not a lot of room for mistakes anymore.
Just on with the deadline coming up on Monday, do you expect Harvey Elliott's situation to change at all?
I think first of all it was very pleasing to see him on the pitch yesterday again. One of the promising players of England, winning I think it was the Euros. Yeah, it was the Euros in last summer for the under-21s. So to see him back on the pitch is very pleasing to see. But I think his situation is clear. He's an Aston Villa player, and at this moment of time. So that's all I can say about it.
Just check where James and percentages are.
Sorry?
Can you just check where James and Stefan percentages are in terms of their recovery? Because I'm sure those two guys have
Dan Southford, yeah. Yeah. No, Jaden, if he would have been fit, he would have definitely been in the squad. But unfortunately, he isn't. And we don't expect him back today or tomorrow as well. So he's been very unlucky in his career till now. But the good thing about him is that he has a great mentality. So he's always fighting himself back after setbacks. And he has, unfortunately, had quite a lot. Because this would have been a great moment for him with Alexander Isak being out and the quality he has, that he could have be with us and helped us in certain moments. But unfortunately for him, but also for us, he's faced a lot of injuries in his career till now. But the good thing about him is that he will fight back and come back, and the world will get to know him the moment he's fit again. Oh, Stefan, okay. He's not training yet, so he constantly gets close to the team, and then he has a little bit setback, and then he comes close to the team, has a little setback. So we're hoping and expect him to have him very soon again. But at that moment of time, he trains with us again. Then he's been out for 6, 7, 8 months, no first team training. So as much as I like to have him back, we have to manage the expectations with him as well.